I would now like to call our members of Parliament, of the European Parliament, on the podium, on the stage. That's Marlene Mizzi, Roberta Metsola, Taki Hachigeorgiou, and Miroslav Mikulášek. Please take a seat.
Thank you, sir.
So my first question goes to Marlene. Political perspectives on pain. What are the political perspectives on pain? There's a microphone you can use.
Hello. Okay. I don't come from the medical sector, so for me, I'm really here to learn and not to teach. But I do like everybody know what pain is. And I also know that sometimes it's difficult to transmit that you have a problem which nobody else can understand. And I think that's where the problem is, and that is where the awareness should be. The awareness that there are people who are suffering and whose suffering has not till now been sufficiently addressed, especially by the policymakers. We tend to think that pain is something that the doctors would deal with, that the politicians, they're really, we have other things to deal with. No. But it's not the case. I think that we have to create awareness that member states, because we are members of the European Union, so we can talk of member states and not other states at this point in time, they have to be made aware that there could be policies where member states could adapt to create awareness, to address chronic pain, and especially to realize that chronic pain does not only impact the sufferer or the people, the immediate people around them, but it has an impact on society even from the labor market point of view, even from the possibility of finding a job, even on the performance of that job, even on the potential of that person. So it has an economic impact as well. And although I think the patient and the pain is the most important, I think we cannot underestimate the impact on society, on the economics, on the country, on the future of the country, on the health system of the country, on the cost of the health system of the country. So those are things that I think the policymakers have to be made aware of, and I know it is not enough.
I assume that also policymakers and members of the European Parliament suffer from pain once in a while, so they know what it means. What is the major hurdle, Miroslav? Because you mentioned we have to get awareness and create awareness. What is the major hurdle for politicians? Well,
first of all, I have to express my joy that yesterday I was the only one. Now we have four of us on the stage, and this is encouraging. First of all, we have seen also in your videos, colleague Becker from Austria and others who are supporting. I think we already, you said, my dear colleague, that we need to raise awareness. We need to raise awareness also among us politicians, and this is how it works. We have to know each other, and I think there is a solid basis here. And the hurdle is, well, this is multifaceted, I think. And you rightly said, or it has been expressed, that well, there are specialists, neurologists, orthopedic surgeons, anesthetists, all of us who think the pain solution is our own priority in our own specialization. And it was said there is no ownership in it. We have to, again, to work together interdisciplinary, including this dimension of well-being, of happiness of person, also of employment, of leave sick question, economic sequelae, and if united, we can deliver, I think. And this is the main message. I'm happy for this inclusion of chronic pain into the classification now. This is of major importance. I feel it as a former doctor. You know, I used to, of course, to see how to help patients, what is their casier, where does it fit, and now we will have also this category which will be covered by insurances, which will be a real freedom for doctors also, kind of by approaching the patient in front of us. So I think it's there. We have to stay focused. And please, as I said yesterday, we are really elected people not to reign, to govern, but to serve you. I mean, this is our role. Please use our, let's say, position, and we are prepared also to work with you when it comes to the Commission awareness and Commission action.
Thank you.
Going back to what you said, MEP Mitzi, around health in all policies, that was something that we discussed yesterday, that health and chronic pain doesn't just fit within DG Santé or within the health ministries at a national level. And I suppose there's a skepticism amongst people in Europe in terms of what can the European institutions do about this. I think within the European institutions themselves, there are moves away from that public health agenda, which of course is of huge concern to us as an advocacy, multi-stakeholder community that wants to engage at the European level and sees the benefit of working together at a European level. And I know, MEP Metsola, you're chair of the EU Parliament Interest Group on rheumatic and musculoskeletal diseases. You're a champion of the MEP Interest Group that we have on brain, mind and pain. And you see the benefits of working at a European level. What would be your message to people around how we can work together at that European level and how that can be translated into policies at the national level for people affected?
Yeah, thank you, Donna. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers of this event. I must say I've been to many events organized by the Maltese presidency, but I have not met any group of organizers who started working on this more than 1 year ago and who have been so attentive to making sure that this is an excellent event. So thank you very much for making us so proud to be Maltese. As you said, Donna, I chair the interest group on rheumatic and musculoskeletal diseases. The reason is not coincidental. As soon as I got re-elected in 2014, I wanted to give my part. I'm a lawyer by profession. I do not have a medical background, but I was approached by a number of colleagues and representatives of organizations that work in pain and wanted to make sure that there are as many members of the European Parliament who are involved in pushing forward more awareness of the fact that pain is not a symptom, but it is an illness. I then started looking into all the Eurobarometer surveys and where Maltese people feature in the statistics. And here again, 1 in 5, Mr. Morlion mentioned it before, extrapolated that would be 100 million citizens across the European Union who suffer from pain. And what we can do is the biggest question. We have spent, I think, too many years considering health to be something that is not a competence of the European Union per se. Then we had the Cross-Border Health Directive, which brought the awareness and also made sure that there were recommendations, exchange of practices, guidelines, etc. But I still think that we are still far away from achieving what we can do in an area where member states continue to have competence. And I'm glad to see Mr. Seikel here, and I'm glad to see the fact that there will be further efforts and actions promoted by the European Commission to make sure to bring as many stakeholders together. And we in the European Parliament really respect that. Not all of us are like Miro, medical doctor, and who I've had the pleasure of sitting next to because we are in alphabetical order next to each other in the European Parliament for over 3 years. But I can see that the different perspective that Miro has, because he has a medical background, really taught me a lot and taught me to realize that out of 751 members of the European Parliament, there's so much space for political action. And in fact, there are so many different interest groups. And I wanted to make sure, and this is my aim for the rest of the mandate, to make sure that the European Parliament continues to give attention to musculoskeletal diseases and the fact that these often go, as Marlene said, unreported, that they have an economic impact, that they prevent you from going to work, that if the society does not invest as much as it should be, as much as it should in these diseases, then the effect and the impact on the workspace and the impact ultimately on the economy because of the amount of sick leave taken, because of the amount of pain medication taken, which aim to address the symptom but not ultimately the cause. And that, I think, is where we should continue to work together, bring together more stakeholders in order to see where policy action, whether it is binding or not, whether it is in form of recommendations or guidelines or exchange of best practices, would really serve to further the development of this policy at European level.
Well, the intentions are good. Everybody tries to move it forward. And there's a saying, actions speak louder than words. What can we do in Brussels, or you, just really to move things forward, Takis?
Thank you. Well, that was a question I put yesterday to you. But I'm ready to try. Well, I'm happy that I'm here with you among colleagues and among the people who represent this very special organization. Whenever I have in front of me someone who wants to talk to me, I always wonder, why does he want to talk to me? Who is he? Who is she? So I need to say something about me, first of all. I come from Cyprus. I'm an MEP since 2009. I'm not a doctor. Hopefully, I'm not a patient. Still, I'm a candidate, since one among 5 people suffer from chronic pain. I'm a candidate. All of us were candidates. Yesterday, I started having pain here on my neck. And I hope that is not going to be.
I think there are a lot of experts here. They can give a consultation.
So I'm in the better environment here. I specialize on the foreign affairs in the European Parliament. Before that, I was member of the Cyprus Parliament for 12 years, and I was dealing also there with foreign policy and so on. But one day I realized that the most important things in our life is our health. And I decided to be member of this interest group in the European Parliament to try to help all of us. The question which is now in front of me is a question which we have to have in front of us every day. So what I said yesterday, I want to repeat it now in front of all you, asking you to provide to us by email any question you want us to put in front of a commission, any part of any idea which you want us to say it in front of the assembly of the Parliament, any amendment you want to see being approved, please give it to us constantly. Don't leave us in our peace during the year and then to meet up again a year later. I'm ready to meet with any of your representatives at any time in our office in Brussels or in Strasbourg. And then if this cooperation will become a constant one, then we will have the products of these efforts. Finally, let me tell you that there are three evils on planet. One, of course, is the sickness. The second one, or the first one, is the war. But there is a third one, which is the speakers. Whenever I see someone started talking, and she never finishes, I started feeling that now we have in front of us another very bad thing. So I finish here, and any other question, I'm ready to reply. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a strong statement, and he is. And as you are the advocates in Brussels, and you are in the position to really can move things forward, we really appreciate that you're here, and your statements really reflect a strong commitment, actually, also, that you really want to move things forward. Don't have any...
I think really it will be useful later on in the morning when we hear the recommendations from the working groups that met yesterday, that we have some time before lunch for you to come back on stage and to comment on those recommendations and to give us some advice in terms of how we can take those recommendations forward, or whether, you know, we're wasting our time in trying to move some of those recommendations. So I think it will be really great to have your honest opinion in terms of whether we're on the right track and where we go from here. So perhaps we move on to additional speakers, and we'll have you back on stage later this morning. But stay where you are for now.
Thank you very much for being here.
My sister's in a lot of pain at the moment.
Okay.
My sister's in a lot of pain at the moment. She's in labor, and I'm about to become an aunt for the first time. So I will need to, at some point, go next to her.
And therefore, we really appreciate that you took the time and be here. Thank you very much. That means a lot for us. Thank you very much. We're going to see you later. Thank you.